let's get into Gran Turismo. Let's hear your feelings.
Gran Turismo, I got to be honest, there's just not a lot of marketing behind this film. There's not a lot of hype about this film, and I feel like that's a real problem because this movie was a good, solid movie. It was exciting. It's a biopic, which is something that I don't think I anticipated when I first got into wanting to see this film. I didn't realize it was almost like Air, but
Yeah.
with video games and race car driving. It was great to see somebody like Orlando Bloom back on the screen again. I think that the star of this film is David Harbour. This guy, he comes into this film and I believed every second of everything that he did. In this film, and based on what we've seen so far out of this year of film, I mean, I know that there's a lot of independent films that the Academy would give supporting acting nominations to, but what David Harbour does in this film is, I mean, you can't even touch it. Like, he's next level amazing actor.
Yeah, for sure.
And this kid, Archie Madikwe, and if I'm butchering his name, I'm so sorry. Like, he's really innocent and in his performance. But the way that he's able to kind of overcome things and triumph in the end is something very difficult to sort of portray in your acting. And I thought that he did really, really well. And I thought that in a tiny way, Jimon Hounsou of Paws of Fury fame, as the father who doesn't believe in the son, he's always great. So yeah, I enjoyed this film. I thought that there were some very great visual elements of this film. As you're watching it, it's like, am I watching a film? Am I watching a video game in real time? Like, they really do kind of combine the two mediums
Yeah.
and really, really make it beautifully well done. I enjoyed this film. I thought it was 50 times higher than what I expected when I first started. I thought it was going to be Fast and the Furious again. Like, I really went into
Yeah.
this.
Or, like Sylvester Stallone, like Driven, which was an okay movie, like I
Exactly.
thought it's entertaining, you'll enjoy it, but it's not like revolutionary or anything. But yeah, I think definitely the best part of this film was the fact that it was a real story. And again, I know it says it even right
Which
behind
I
me.
didn't even know. I didn't know it was a
Yeah,
real story.
I didn't really do any prep work on this movie going into it, which I don't typically like to do just because I'm okay with learning on the spot. Obviously I knew it was about the game. I love big fan of the game growing up. It's definitely one of the best driving simulators, if not the best driving simulator of all time. And so I was definitely just curious on seeing what they were going to do with it. Especially lately, I feel Hollywood has started to figure out a lot of these video games into films. We've
Right.
seen many other films this year already become successful. Super Mario Brothers definitely is the first one that jumps out of my head.
Right, but the added difference between this film and other video game movies is that this is not only based on a true story, but this is something that is absolutely incredible. Like, Mario Brothers wasn't a real life thing that people were competing towards and trying to be professional at, right?
Yeah,
Like, this is like a next level. Here's what we can do with video game properties.
yeah,
Even if this was not a true story, I think the way this story was laid out was brilliant and
yeah.
was in captivating and engaging. And
Well, it's a
the
legit.
fact
It's
that
a
it was a true story was one of the bigger selling points for me at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a legit sports movie. And so I think, again, it's not necessarily marketed that way because Gran Turismo is a video game movie, but this is like, throw that aside. That's really just the premise of the movie versus like the movie itself is a racing movie. It's a sports movie. And I think that's where this movie has a chance because with this sneak preview, and which was apparently due to the strike that's happening, but this will give it a chance to give it a little bit of buzz now going into its actual release, which is August 25th, I believe. And
Right,
so
next week.
it will have a chance to kind of make up for the lack of marketing, to your point.
I hope so, because this movie absolutely deserves viewers. This movie deserves people being in the seats, in the theaters themselves, because this is not Super Mario Brothers. This is not The Legend of Zelda or any video game trying to make a realistic representation of a video game. This is a real life story that is actually really, really well put together. This is, I mean, dare I say, this is almost a very much a Rudy story, kind of thrown into this sort of racing world.
To the point that you're making, I feel like this film, I think the more frustrating part for me of this film, I believe everything you're saying, and you're right. Go see this. It's a very good film. I felt this film had the potential to be an elite sports film. I think it had all the ingredients it needed to. And kind of what I said in one of my short videos was I just feel like it was lacking this kind of cohesive magic. And you see it with really great films that, again, you're talking about the elite level films where it's like the music is elevating everything, the editing, all of it combined together. It's all just, and you have like incredible feelings walking out.
I could see that, and there is that element that makes a film one of the best you've ever seen versus something that is just really, really good. And I will agree with you that there is a little piece of magic, as you say, that it is lacking. However, despite not having that magical piece, oof,
100%.
great
No,
film.
I definitely.
But you're right. This could have been absolutely elevated into the Rudies and the Field of Dreams in terms of sports movies, had it had a little bit of magic to it. Which, yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
That's where roles like music supervisor and even go ahead.
But with the music supervisor, I mean, I thought that was a really funny, charming element where the main guy, Archie, was playing all of those like really funny. Like,
No, that part was great.
And Kenny G, and
that part's cool. Yeah.
When he was in that zone, and everyone around him was like, "What are you doing? We're about to, we got to race right now. Like, what are you doing?" And he's like listening to Enya. I thought that was hilarious, and that's music supervision.
Like the best example I could use, especially because it's really recent in my head, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where again, all of a sudden they drop No Diggity, and then it's again the way it's exactly edited perfectly to the song, and again you just get these chills because it's like, oh shit, here we go, it's about to go down, and you never quite
the scene is elevated. Yep.
Now I like some of that things you're talking about. Like it wasn't. I'm not saying the music supervising was terrible in this at all. I'm not.
He should be fired.
I wish this had a couple, like 2 or 3 more songs that are just like dropping hammers. Because I felt like it was ready for the knockout blow, and it just was like, so close, But again, at the end of the day, go see this August 25th.
Great film.
Yeah, very good sports film. So check it out.